All for great savings, right? Flow gives you up to $80 a month off your mobile by just adding it to your home bundle. Enjoy the fastest internet speeds and free mobile calls from your home phone, plus HBO and free internet speed upgrade. That's more value while you spend less. Switch today. Bundle and save up to $80 a month off your mobile. Call us at 1-800-804-2994 or visit us in store. Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
Good night, St. Lucia, and welcome to another episode of Police Insight. I am your host, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I'd like to say good night to our Commissioner of Police, Mr. Milton Daisy, our Deputy, Mr. Dorian O'Brien, all gazetted officers, good night to you, inspectors, sergeants, corporals, constables, both senior and junior, special police constables, good night to you, special reserve officers, city police, wardens, good night to you. Ex-police officers, thank you for the service you've given to your country. Good night to you. Our brothers and sisters in law enforcement, fire service department, customs, port police, I'd like to say good night to you all. Okay, we recently just celebrated our 42nd independence. I hope you had a good weekend, although we realize there's still some people who got themselves into some incidents, or should I say accidents, despite the authorities, the police issuing warnings to individuals to, we're going to have a virtual celebration, but we expected it. Some people decide to take to the road, got injured. I hope everyone recovers. But happy post-independence in Lucia. I really did enjoy the virtual programs. It was really nice, especially the one that dealt with the walk through the communities. Very, very well put together, I must say. So kudos to the production team, the independence team on that production. I really enjoyed it. Also the playlist, the Prime Minister's playlist, all those local acts. It was good, I must say. So this is where you tell a friend to tell a friend that Police Insight is on. I have a very, very important guest in studio tonight. So you guys really, really need to tune in because we're going to be talking about vaccines. Everything vaccine tonight, okay? You know what we're going through in this pandemic, and right now the world is trying to get itself back in order. And one of the ways to do that, apart from washing your hands, sanitizing, and as much as possible, socially distancing yourselves from people, one of those mechanisms is by the way of vaccination. But before I introduce my guest, I'd just like to say good night, first of all, to my family, the Hippolyte family of Grosley. We're currently mourning the death of one of our own, Bradley Hippolyte, a young gentleman who passed away in the UK under mysterious circumstances. So I'd like to say good night to his mom, Auntie Eldra, good night to you. I'd like to say good night to Auntie Marjorie and the rest of the Hippolyte family. I just want to tell you guys to stay strong. It's a part of life, and hopefully we can get answers as soon as possible. Moving right along, we also have a public notice from the Office of the Prime Minister. Shane, I think we got that up on the screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who missed it, this press release was released today. It says liquor license suspension lifted as of Thursday. And it was important, I believe, for the authorities to put out that message because a lot of people were assuming it was going to be tomorrow. So, liquor license suspension lifted as of Thursday, 25th February 2021. No consumption allowed on licensed premises. And it goes on, as per statutory instrument number 43 of 2021, the public is hereby informed that from Thursday, 25th February 2021, the suspension on alcohol sales is lifted. However, persons are not permitted to consume liquor on the licensed premises. This means that bars and restaurants will only provide takeaway, grab-and-go services. The purpose of the protocol is to continue restrictions on social gatherings and assist the Ministry of Health in contact tracing efforts as St. Lucia continues to manage the COVID-19 pandemic. The public is informed that strict measures of enforcement are in place and all non-essential businesses, bars and restaurants included, must be completely closed by the curfew time of 7 p.m. daily. The government of St. Lucia continues to thank the public for their cooperation in this national effort to fight the COVID-19 virus. For more information on St. Lucia's COVID-19 response, you could visit covid19response.lc. So, people, it's on Thursday. Okay, according to the local parlors, the way I'm hearing it in the communities, the rum free up on Thursday, but do not forget, it's only to take away. Don't stay in the cabaret drinking the rum, okay? You have to take your bottle of rum, whatever it is, and go at your home. Enjoy yourself at home, okay, people? All right. So, without further ado, this is the point in time where I now introduce my guest for the evening. So, tonight with me, ladies and gentlemen, we shall have the Assistant Principal Nursing Officer and Immunization Manager Manager from the Ministry of Health, Miss Tecla Jn. Miss Jn, welcome to Police Insight.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, Sergeant Hippolyte.
I'm really happy you're here tonight with me because there is just so much that's going on, and a lot of I could tell you, some of my colleagues, even those directly under my command, they are not willing to take the vaccine. Likewise, there are lots of other officers who are also willing. So for those who have a little doubt, I know that you're here to ease their minds, right, Ms. Jn?
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Okay, so could you tell St. Lucia a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Tecla Jn. I am from Choiseul. I think I probably, yes, born and nurtured, yeah, in the most beautiful part of St. Lucia.
I'll take exception to that, but no problem. I mean, you're the VIP right now, so that's okay.
Yes, so I've been a nurse for, I didn't realize it was already 16 years. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 15 years, thereabouts, a little over. Mm-hmm. Actually, before becoming a nurse at secondary school, nursing and health and science was nothing on my mind, not on my agenda. I actually pursued business, and but somewhere along the way, I mean, my interest changed, and I have absolutely no regrets. I mean, I'm loving the nursing profession, and everything I do to the best of my ability to make sure that the people that I serve are satisfied and they get good quality service. And even at this point, I am not directly giving hands-on care. Mm-hmm. Any opportunity I get to do it, I mean, I take the opportunity too. But even in a management position, I ensure that, you know, my nurses and the quality of care and service that we give to our patients is the best. I don't settle for nothing else but the best. Yes.
Excellent.
It has to be care that meets the standard. Yeah. So this is me in a nutshell. In 2015, I pursued my master's in public health. And upon return, I was promoted to assistant principal nursing officer. So I am actually in management, so I see things from a different, a different perspective. But I love what I do. I took over the role of immunization manager just about a year and a half ago. And I like it. It's a very interesting area. I mean, you learn a lot, and I love it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so my people, viewers, especially those of you on the Facebook streaming platform, good night to you. We have experience in the house. So I know for sure all of that will be discussed and uttered by our guests. You can take to the bank. So let's get into it, Mr. Baptiste. Without further ado, first of all, vaccine. What is a vaccine?
I mean, vaccines are really biological preparations. They contain either the weakened form or inactivated parts of a particular organism, whether it's a virus or a bacteria. And what they do is they actually trigger your body to respond. They trigger your immune response if in case the body were to get exposed to the organism, whether it's a virus or a bacteria.
I see. That's in essence what a vaccine is.
That's basically what it is. Yes, it does.
It causes our body to react. Would that be a good way to put it?
Yes, yes, certainly.
All right. So how do vaccines work?
Okay, so someone receives a vaccine. So once you would have received the vaccine, of course, it would have created that level of response, right? So what happens is when your body would have been exposed, then what happens is that it recognizes the invading virus, the germ, whatever it is. So then your body now, it produces antibodies. What exactly are antibodies? They're really proteins that are produced naturally by the system to fight disease. So this is really what the vaccine does. So our bodies, what it does, vaccines, they kind of, it helps the body remember the disease. And of course, whenever you are exposed, then the body fights back.
So it's like it prepares my body for war.
That's right.
Something like that.
Yeah, basically.
So it's like a guy coming into my home. I'm just trying my best to put this as
in the layman's terms.
So it's like, all right, I'm at my home. This is Baptiste. Guy comes into my home, beats me up. Literally beats me up. I just couldn't defend myself, and leaves. It's like me going and get the training, getting the preparation, learning the beating that I got. So the next time this guy tries to come into my home, I'll be ready to give him a match and beat him up instead. Yes. Is that something like that? Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put it that way. So, So any time in the future that your body would get exposed to this germ, to this virus, then, of course, your immune system will quickly destroy it. Yeah.
Quickly destroy
it, before you get unwell or anything of that sort.
Okay. All right. So how is the vaccine administered? Okay.
So for this COVID-19 vaccine rollout, as you would have heard in the media, that the vaccine that is being introduced is the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Astro.
Astra.
Oh, Astra.
AstraZeneca
Okay.
vaccine.
Okay.
So this vaccine is given intramuscularly. So it is given in the muscle of the arm, what the muscle we call the deltoid muscle.
Why the arm, Mr. Baptiste? Can it be any other muscle? Is it that?
No, it has to be a large muscle, and we try to
okay.
we try to avoid the
The
gluteus
bump,
muscle because of the number of nerves. There are quite a few nerves, and then you do not really want to
Oh, I see.
puncture any nerve to cause any problems. So, but it is just 0.5 mils, just a small amount of fluid of the vaccine itself. So this, and I mean, we could give much more, I mean, vaccines or medications with larger quantities in the deltoid muscle. It is a fairly large muscle, and so this is where it's given. Okay. The vaccine is a 2-dose vaccine, meaning that you would require 2 doses for full protection.
For full protection.
Yes.
Okay.
According to the WHO, the World Health Organization, the vaccine can be given at intervals of between 4 to 12 weeks. Of course, we have the experts on immunization does recommend that, well, in fact, they have seen through the trials, because as you're well aware, vaccines go through rigorous trials.
Yeah, we would hope so.
Yeah, rigorous trials before they are approved. And of course, they would study things like safety, efficacy, and these are right. So before a vaccine is actually pre-qualified for use, I mean, the experts have to ensure that it is safe, it is efficacious, and it is one of good quality. So what they have seen is that the vaccine, whilst you can give it from 4, you have this range that you can give it, but we have seen that with the longer intervals, of course, the efficacy increases. So we have decided in St. Lucia, the vaccine committee, we have decided that we are going to have a 6-week interval between our doses. Whilst WHO recommends, now they're recommending, 8 to 12 weeks, but our decision was based not just on that, but also on the shelf life of the first set of vaccines.
Oh, so it has a shelf life?
Yes, so
okay.
I mean, we have doses, and we can't afford, not in a time when vaccines are so scarce. COVID vaccines are like good gold now. I mean,
like what bread?
Yeah, I mean, really scarce, and we realize that COVID-19 is a global pandemic. And so at this point, we can't afford to let any vaccines go to waste. So since we have our vaccines, we have up until May for this first batch of vaccines, we have decided to go with a 6-week interval.
6 weeks.
Yes. As anything else, we continue to evaluate the program. We continue to get advice from the experts. And nothing says that somewhere later on that we can't extend. But as anything else, you have up until the 12 weeks within which you can take the vaccine. Of course, if someone inadvertently forgets or delays their vaccine and comes after 12 weeks, then their second dose would be administered.
Still be given?
Yes.
Okay, that wouldn't be a problem.
No, it wouldn't.
So I guess individuals will be given, let's say, a card or something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If
So
they return date, something like that?
yeah, so as with any vaccine, even childhood vaccines, well, we know the kids have their child passports, so they come, they have their vaccines, it is documented, and parents are given their appointments for return. With adult vaccination, it's the same thing.
Okay.
So with the COVID-19 vaccine, there is a special certificate, a COVID-19 vaccine certificate that is issued once you would have received your vaccine. So someone comes, gets their vaccine, they're issued that card. What's on the card? It has your demographic details, and it has details about the vaccine, the name of the vaccine, the manufacturer, the expiration date, the lot number, all of that important, very important, in case there's an event and you need to track. You need to track the batch, because as with any other vaccine, and not just COVID-19 vaccine, any other vaccine, there's always, it's always possible that you could have an event. And when I say an event, I'm not speaking of, the general side effects, the mild side effects that come with vaccines. I speak of something more serious, what we call adverse events. And in immunization, we call it adverse events following immunization. So it is something serious, so a severe allergic reaction, somebody is hospitalized, and sometimes which is not associated with the vaccine, because, people get ill all the time. You have things happening with you that you are not that you're not even aware of. Okay. And, but just kind of going back, I'm giving you all of this just to help you understand why the vaccine certificate has all of that information.
I see.
So if an event were to occur, then of course there's an investigation that has to be conducted, and we would need all the details right back to the batch, the manufacturer, so that we could conduct the investigation. And of course, if there's any link towards showing that the event was indeed associated with the vaccine, of course we know there is what you call compensation, because as with when vaccines are given, there is what you call an indemnity agreement that is signed with the manufacturer in case things like that occur. But in St. Lucia, I don't know of any of these serious events, at least in my time as a nurse and even as immunization manager. We have not experienced any of those.
Well, that's definitely good news.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So this document that I would be given with my return date.
Yes.
And I'm sure someone listening would like me to ask that question. So if I were to lose that document, but for sure I remember the date, do I need that document? Must I produce that document to get my second dose, or would their information be in there already so that I would not have an issue?
Oh, definitely. These things happen. It's a card, people misplace it,
yes.
It gets destroyed. Anybody who we administer vaccines to, there is a health information system. So everyone that we would encounter, or everyone who would receive a vaccine, is the details of this encounter is entered in our health information system. So if someone were to lose their card and would need their records, this is easy. We could just go to the information system, pull up the person's name, and we have the records, and we could issue the person another card.
According to the science, according to, I guess, WHO and all those authorities, how long does, let's say I've got my second dose, how long does the vaccine remain in my body, or the effects of the vaccine remain in my body?
For now, according to the experts, yes, and World Health Organization, for now it's a 2-dose regime, and according to WHO and the trials that have been conducted, there have not been the need for a booster.
Oh,
yes.
I see.
So based on that, for now, I could see that we could assume that it provides a long-lasting
coverage.
Right.
Some people want to know, but okay, the vaccine appears, or it is being marketed as the answer to this COVID issue. Why after taking a vaccine I still have to be so concerned about masking up and washing my hands and stuff like that? The vaccine, yes, you get a vaccine.
it helps protect you. But as anything else, the vaccine does not outright prevent you, right, from getting the virus, or from, because you're going to get exposed to it.
Okay.
What it does is that it protects you, it prevents you in the event that you get exposed. It prevents you from getting ill and from developing any serious illness. That being said, it is important for us to continue, washing our hands and practicing the social distancing and wearing our mask until we have enough people in our population who is vaccinated to provide that level of herd immunity to protect those that are not vaccinated. Then we still have to continue our adhering to the protocols.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, excellent information, factual information. We are going to take a break. When we come back, I will be asking, hey, side effects, what are they? Stay tuned to Police Insight.
Quickly the coronavirus spreads, each new case calls for increased public vigilance. Know what is happening, understand why, and comply. Think of the protocols as war tactics. Personal protection tactics. Keep 6 feet away from others. Avoid riding the bus, gathering on beaches, in bars, and shops. Public protection tactics. Quarantine yourself if you feel fluish in case you have been exposed. Call 311 or a respiratory clinic for advice. Country tactics. Partial lockdown. Supermarkets, small grocers, pharmacies, and ATMs are accessible before curfew. Total lockdown. Everywhere stays closed 24/7 for a stipulated period. Team tactics. Don't only follow the protocols. Be a protocols police. Let's win this.
Together let us win this war. Say you shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Aging gracefully is the hope for everyone. But when you age prematurely, most people think that something is wrong with you. The natural enzymes and building blocks in your skin start to deplete. So fine or deep lines and wrinkles appear, making you look much older than you really are. At Derma Clinic, we can help repair your skin and change the way you look in minutes. These treatments will make you look younger. At Derma Clinic, we treat all kinds of skin problems, such as facial lines, dark circles around the eyes, crow's feet, and frown lines, using all-natural hyaluronic acid filler. So maintain and improve your facial appearance. For more information, call 453-6417 or 485-9818.
Yes, it's definitely about the high life. The high life with Prime Life by Digicel. Live the Prime Life this month and be one of 4 winners of $1,500 cash. Activate any Digicel Prime bundle. Upgrade to a postpaid Prime bundle. Download the Digicel app or become a new Digicel customer to qualify. 4 winners, $1,500 each. It's the high life with Prime Life by Digicel.
It's all about the highlight. It's all about the highlight.
Hi, my name is Sidil, and you may know some of my hits like this one.
Don't play with man. Man pull up like 10 bad man in the band.
Our music inspires and entertains. It powers festivals and is an integral part of our history and culture. Creating good music takes hours of thought, writing, arranging, recording, and production. When people or businesses who use our music publicly or for commercial gain get a music license, they're not just keeping the law. They're also supporting music creators, producers, musicians, singers, sound engineers, and many others in the music industry. Keep the great music coming. Get a music license for your business, place, or event. Support music rights.
For more information, visit echorights.com. This message is brought to you by Echo and this Echo license station. Echo, protecting music rights.
All for great savings, right? Flow gives you up to $80 a month off your mobile by just adding it to your home bundle. Enjoy the fastest internet speeds and free mobile calls from your home phone, plus HBO and free internet speed upgrade. That's more value while you spend less. Switch today. Bundle and save up to $80 a month off your mobile. Call us at 1-800-804-2994 or visit us in store. Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
COVID-19 stigma will not protect you.
I don't want that child playing with my child.
He better stay away from me.
Be kind during COVID-19. Follow all protocols.
That disease ain't have no cure.
Learn the facts about the virus.
Me, I'm not working with any COVID person.
She better stay away from me.
Let's not turn fear into stigma. A message from the St. Lucia Red Cross.
You're watching MBC.
Thank you for staying tuned to Police Insight. And before we continue this interesting discussion, let me just, as usual, after the first break, say hello to those of you in the Facebook platform. So good night, Chrislyn James, Rosemary Mosheri, G. Knox, Jerome Moise, good night to you. Angela Hippolyte, how you doing? Clita Modest, Brits Boss, good night to you. Chris Andes or Andes, good night to you. Omani Joseph, who else is there? We have a Kalon John, Sandra Louison, Candida Daniel, how you doing? Yeah, I think that's it for now. And Manny Vig, yes, good night to you all. All right, so let's continue with this very interesting and informative discussion. So, Ms. Baptiste, let's continue.
Sure.
For those of you who are just joining us, we have in studio with us, I forgot to mention that again, the immunization manager and also assistant principal nursing officer from the Ministry of Health, Ms. Tecla Jn, and we're talking everything vaccine. So, Ms. Jn, when it comes to this vaccine, who is it recommended for?
The vaccine, the AstraZeneca vaccine, is recommended for persons 18 years and older.
18 years and older.
18 years and older, yes. And at this time, there, of course, we know trials are still going on in the lower age groups. And at this point, it's persons 18 years and older, yeah.
So 17, 16, sorry, for now.
Yeah, for now. And this is all the reason why, we should get vaccinated. Yeah, should get vaccinated to protect this lower age group who is not eligible. I mean, our data shows that COVID affects people across the lifespan. We have our youngest age 3 months.
Yes.
Could you imagine a 3 months old baby?
That was just heartbreaking.
I mean, this is so heartbreaking. And the thing about COVID-19 is when one gets it, you have no guarantee. You don't know how it's going to turn out. Some people are lucky enough to get the very mild form and they recover. We've seen people who start very mild and then the condition deteriorates. I mean, you really don't know how this thing is turning out. I mean, we have people dying, not just in St. Lucia, but around the world with COVID-19. And we have young people, I mean, we had a 21-year-old.
That was really shocking.
I mean, this was shocking. So you see why it is important for us to take the vaccine to protect those around us. When we take the vaccine, we don't take it just for ourselves. We take it to protect ourselves, but we also take it to protect those around us. And those are the vulnerable ones around us that are not eligible.
Because a lot of us have kids, we've got relatives and, and friends, and as you know, the population of St. Lucia below that age, below 18, is huge. You have a very youthful population.
That's right.
So I'm happy to, the way you put it, I'm not just taking the vaccine for myself, but also to protect those around me, especially those below that age range.
All right.
Okay, and according to the sciences, how effective is the Oxford? As a matter of fact, I see there are different brands, right? There's Oxford AstraZeneca.
So that's the Oxford AstraZeneca, yes. That's what it is.
There is Pfizer.
Yes.
Pfizer, am I correct?
So we also have there's also the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines, which were two of the first vaccines to have received approval.
Okay.
Yes, and these vaccines they require very cold temperatures, what we call ultra cold temperatures. We do not offer them. We don't offer it in St. Lucia, and not just St. Lucia, many of the Caribbean countries. These vaccines were were two of the very first vaccines to get approval by WHO, and of course these were rolled out in the bigger countries, in the UK, in the US, and we hear of very scarce, very limited amounts, and right. The AstraZeneca vaccine, on the other hand, is one that can be stored at our normal temperatures, same temperatures like the other vaccines that we offer in our national program, at refrigerated temperature. Yes, so this is the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Just remind me what the question was.
So how effective is
Oh yeah, the effect, right. So thus the preliminary, the very first efficacy rate that was given was about 63%. But as trials continue and more studies are being done, we know that the efficacy can go as high as in the high 70s and early 80s. And then remember earlier on, I did say that what they've noted is that the longer the intervals, the efficacy increases. Of course, your body has more time to build more antibodies, etc., etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So I'm happy you answered that question, because I'm always on social media. I'm always trying to feel the pulse of the populace, and a lot of persons were wondering, but why AstraZeneca and why not Pfizer and why not Moderna? And it appears that according to the FDA, Pfizer is doing very well. So a lot of persons want to know why not those vaccines and why the AstraZeneca. But like you stated, it all has to do with storage. And
I'm saying, and I'm happy you bringing this up. This doesn't mean that at some point in the future, when supply of these vaccines is a lot more, that St. Lucia will not have Pfizer and Moderna as part of their regime. As a matter of fact, because St. Lucia and many of the other Caribbean countries, it is not usual for us to have such low temperature, storage capacity really for these very low temperatures, because we have never really had any vaccine that required such low temperatures. We're talking minus 70. I mean, this is really cold. And the logistics that's involved in actually transporting these vaccines from central storage to the point of immunization is a lot, and you have to be very careful. And with vaccines, you have to ensure that you maintain the cold chain throughout. Because yes, because vaccines are very sensitive. And remember, we're talking human lives. And this is our concern. Safety of the vaccines and also safety of the people that we administer the vaccines is our top priority. Vaccines we have to maintain the cold chain. So if you have a vaccine that require such low temperatures, then you're thinking about having dry ice to move it from central stores to the vaccination point. It's supposed to stay out just for a limited period of time. If you remove it from central store to the dry ice, then it cannot be returned back into the ultra cold temperature. It's a lot of logistics that come into play. And I'm saying all of this to say that we have recognized that we're taking our cues from the countries that have introduced it. And of course, we are building capacity. We are procuring fridges that would be able to store such ultra cold temperatures, because we do recognize that COVID is not going to go away anytime soon. And we will continue to need vaccines. At this point in the pandemic, vaccines are limited, but there will come a point where vaccines will be readily available, and we have that option to have other COVID vaccines in our national program.
Excellent. I saw a news clip where our Prime Minister is reporting that he hasn't had any side effects. So tell us, Ms. Baptiste, what are some of the common side effects in taking this COVID vaccine?
As with any other vaccine, there are likely side effects. And I received my vaccine last week, Wednesday.
How are you feeling?
Oh, I felt good. Okay. I have not had any side effect. I mean, I felt a little tired the following day, but the truth is, Sergeant, I did not attribute it to vaccines because I have been all over the place. I've been having long hours, and the tiredness didn't last. So for me, I guess I just needed some rest, and then I was fine. I've not had a headache. I barely felt the pain at the injection site a few hours after it was there, but then it was gone. So I'm one of those who didn't have any side effects. But as with any other vaccines, there are likely side effects. What we have noted, and even during the trials of the vaccine, some of what were reported were fever, chills, headaches, muscle pain. Some people felt a bit of nausea. The general feeling of like you're not feeling well, the tiredness, and pain at the injection site, which is very common with most vaccines. What we have done, though, is our first set of persons who received vaccines last week, what we did is that we called persons.
Follow up, I see.
Yeah, so we did some follow-up just to find out. What we needed to find out is what side effects people were reporting. That in itself is going to help us tailor our messages and educate persons. And what we found is lots of people complain. Well, I won't say lots, but we had quite a few persons who complain of the fever. Okay. Some people got some chills, and of course that can be managed. The pain at the injection site, and the general feeling of tiredness. Yes, we had a few persons, quite a few people complain about that. But these are effects that go away within a day or two.
Okay.
You have a fever, you have some chills. This can be easily managed with paracetamol. Of course, you keep taking your fluids, you rest, and this is and that in itself, is the management really. And but But one thing we do note, and we encourage people, and that whilst we expect that those side effects would last just about a day or two, the monitoring of yourself post-immunization, post-vaccination, is important.
Because you know yourself.
Right, it is important. And as I said earlier, we get sick all the time, we get exposed to things. Sometimes I took the vaccine and I may have had something going on with me already that I didn't know.
Okay.
So if it's 2 days, it's 3 days, it's 4 days, it's about 5 days, you're still really not feeling well, then it is important that you inform your healthcare provider or you see your medical practitioner to have some further investigation. It may not necessarily be associated with the vaccine, but we encourage persons to do so. And something else that I need to mention, at the point of immunization, when persons get vaccinated, there is a period of observation. So everybody who would receive the vaccine is monitored for roughly, about 15 minutes or so, just to ensure that, there's no severe allergic reaction or any anaphylaxis, which would normally happen, suddenly. Right?
Suddenly, it's not like a day later or 10 hours.
Yeah, most times these severe reactions, they occur in a very short space of time after receiving vaccine. So this is why it's very important that we observe persons shortly after they receive their vaccines.
So now that I've taken the vaccine, all right, I'm not taking it yet, I'm just giving an example. Are there any special precautions one should take after taking the vaccine? So you've monitored me for 15 minutes. I've now gone home. Any special precautions? Like, is there anything I should stay away from? Shouldn't I drink or something I shouldn't do? There's nothing like that?
No, not really. In terms of precautions, of course, as I said, the continuous monitoring of yourself. And if something that strange is happening to you, that you should report to your healthcare provider. But as it relates to vaccines, anybody who would have had any previous reaction to vaccines, then of course these persons would be encouraged to seek their medical advice from their medical practitioners first to get the green light, quote unquote, to take their vaccines. But if someone has had or would have developed an allergic reaction after taking the vaccine, then that person should not be given the second dose in that particular type of vaccine, because it may be an allergic reaction, maybe not to the vaccine itself, but it could be to one of the properties of the vaccine. It could be the preservative, it could be the adjuvant or something. Yeah.
Ms. Baptiste, can a pregnant woman take the vaccine?
The AstraZeneca vaccine is a non-replicating vaccine, so meaning that in fact, through the studies and the trials, there is absolutely no indication of harm to the developing fetus. However, as more data becomes available, of course, we will update persons. But because it's a non-replicating vaccine, meaning that you cannot get the virus from the vaccine, and secondly, there's no indication of harm to the fetus. If that pregnant woman so the decision to take the vaccine really is based on the benefits versus the risk. So if this pregnant woman belongs to one of these very high-risk groups that the COVID vaccine is highly recommended for, such as being a frontline worker, having an underlying condition that would, make you more susceptible to COVID-19 infection, and of course the serious outcomes, serious effects of it, then this person is expected to be counseled, educated, and according to WHO, they can take the vaccine.
Because sometimes, you know, some of our females might not even know that they're pregnant. You know, so that's definitely a question. Yeah. So
and the same holds for a woman who is breastfeeding.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Again, because it is non-replicating, and there was no evidence that AstraZeneca was excreted in human milk.
Okay.
Right. So it is unlikely that it will be passed to the breastfeeding child.
Okay.
And again, same basis. If the lactating woman belongs to one of these high-risk groups, being a frontliner, etc., she should be offered the vaccine. So, and of course, we don't encourage anyone to stop or suspend breastfeeding because of the vaccine. No.
What about persons who know for sure they have an underlying conditions, diabetics, individuals like that? Can they take the vaccine?
Yes, they can. As a matter of fact, these are the people that we are, you know, these are the people in our first phase. These are the people that, you know, these are vulnerable groups, the people who are very susceptible to COVID infections. And we realize a lot of our deaths are persons who have underlying conditions. They have comorbid conditions. They come to the respiratory hospital sick. They are the ones who die. So their risk is really high.
Okay.
And as such, they should and they can take the vaccine.
Well, okay, so what if I do a test, I find out I'm positive, okay, for the COVID-19 virus, and I want to take the vaccine next week. Can I do that once I have tested positive?
We don't encourage persons who are in the acute phase of the illness to take the vaccine. Also, when someone would have gotten infected with COVID-19, they would have developed a certain level of natural immunity.
Okay.
Yeah, they would have. According to the literature, we're not sure how long that natural immunity is going to last. We have seen reinfections after 90 days. So there is a 90-day window that we are playing around with. But we have seen reinfections after 90 days. So, and we have had persons who, right here in St. Lucia, we have had, one person who was COVID positive and got reinfected. So obviously, we know that the natural immunity does not last forever. During the acute phase of the illness, we don't encourage it, but once the person would have been fully recovered, if the person desires to have the vaccine, it can be offered.
Once they're fully recovered?
Once they've recovered.
Okay.
At this time in the pandemic and the rolling out of the vaccine, and I keep on stressing about scarce resources, limited number of doses of vaccines. And we're talking about equity and those persons who really need it to have it. So if you would have been infected with COVID-19 already, and you have a little level of your natural immunity, and you may opt to defer your COVID-19 vaccine up to about 6 months or so. But if you desire to have your vaccine, there is absolutely nothing wrong as long as you have passed that acute phase.
Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, lots of information, lots of questions. But we're going to take our second break. When we come back, the lines will be open and I'll have more questions for my guests. Stay tuned.
quickly the coronavirus spreads, each new case calls for increased public vigilance. Know what is happening, understand why, and comply. Think of the protocols as war tactics. Personal protection tactics. Keep 6 feet away from others. Avoid riding the bus, gathering on beaches, in bars, and shops. Public protection tactics. Quarantine yourself if you feel fluish in case you have been exposed. Call 311 or a respiratory clinic for advice. Country tactics. Partial lockdown. Supermarkets, small grocers, pharmacies, and ATMs are accessible before curfew. Total lockdown. Everywhere stays closed 24/7 for a stipulated period. Team tactics. Don't only follow the protocols. Be a protocols police. Let's win this.
Together let us win this war. Said you shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
It's all about the high life.
Yes, it's definitely about the high life. The high life with Prime Life by Digicel. Live the Prime Life this month and be one of 4 winners of $1,500 cash. Activate any Digicel Prime bundle. Upgrade to a postpaid Prime bundle. Download the Digicel app or become a new Digicel customer to qualify. 4 winners, $1,500 each. It's the high life with Prime Life by Digicel.
It's all about the high life. It's all about the high life. We are solution. Crystal clear. Crystal clear.
Sodium free and the proud recipient of the 2018, 2019 and 2020 Grand Gold Mond Selection Quality Award. Our choice is clear. Crystal clear.
Hi, my name is Sidil, and you may know some of my hits like this one.
Don't play with man. Man pull up like 10 bad man.
Our music inspires and entertains. It powers festivals and is an integral part of our history and culture. Creating good music takes hours of thought, writing, arranging, recording, and production. When people or businesses who use our music publicly or for commercial gain get a music license, they're not just keeping the law. They're also supporting music creators, producers, musicians, singers, sound engineers, and many others in the music industry. Keep the great music coming. Get a music license for your business place or event. Support music rights.
For more information, visit echorights.com. This message is brought to you by Echo and this Echo license station. Echo. Protecting music rights.
All for great savings, right? Flow gives you up to $80 a month off your mobile by just adding it to your home bundle. Enjoy the fastest internet speeds and free mobile calls from your home phone. Plus HBO and free internet speed upgrade. That's more value while you spend less. Switch today. Bundle and save up to $80 a month off your mobile. Call us at 1-800-804-2994 or visit us in store. Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
COVID-19 stigma will not protect you.
I don't want that child playing with my child.
He better stay away from me.
Be kind during COVID-19. Follow all protocols.
That disease ain't have no cure.
Meet our COVID lab. Learn the facts about the virus.
Me, I don't working with any COVID person.
He better stay away from me.
Let's not turn fear into stigma. A message from the St. Lucia Red Cross.
You're watching MBC.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host here, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte. In studio with me is the Assistant Principal Nursing Officer and Immunization Manager. I got that right. Miss Tecla Jn. Baptiste. This is where we want to hear from you, my people. Those of you in the Facebook chat, those of you out there in TV land, you could call the studio 4533-911, 4533-911. You could also hook me up on the WhatsApp texting platform. That number for WhatsApp messages is 7200-401, 7200-401. And I already have like so many messages there. We have a call on the line. Okay, let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Hi.
Good night, sir. Welcome to Police Insight.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We could hear you.
Yes. Good evening. I have a few questions because I'm not 100% sold out on some of the information I'm getting this evening. But I just want to clarify a few things. Ms. Baptiste made mention about the vaccine and herd immunity, right? I want to ask a question. What is the recovery rate on this COVID-19?
I don't have that rate for you in figures, but I could tell what I could tell you is, of course, we have roughly about 80% or so of our people who recover.
Okay. What 80%? So basically, what we're saying, if I'm right, this virus operates more like a flu, common cold, right?
Sort of.
So with proper immune boosting, will that also fight against this virus?
I mean, this is a nice question, and of course, yes. Whilst we are promoting the vaccine as a public health strategy to help contain the virus, and of course to get to a point of herd immunity, we never stop encouraging persons to boost themselves and to eat well and to build their immunity. What we do know for sure is that we don't know how long the natural immunity that one gets when they get infected with COVID-19. We don't know how long this actually lasts. And as I indicated a little earlier, we right here in St. Lucia, we have had reinfections, and we see it happen in other places. But there is no doubt that persons should continue to be physically active, to eat well, to rest, and to build their body's immunity, to boost themselves.
All right, but because right now, from what I'm understanding, this vaccine is not something that even WHO is not even sure. It's more like a trial. The more what they're doing is basically a trial, a hit and run basis to see whether it's going to work. So why wasn't our first step was to sensitize the public, or even initiate programs where citizens of St. Lucia could have gone more into natural immune boosting to fight this pandemic? You know, why didn't the ministry take as much as you guys are trying to run the vaccine, it's just fine, but why didn't the Ministry of Health push into the direction of looking for natural sources located on island, food, different things that can help boost the immune system to fight against something which is basically almost on equal par with the common cold, from what I'm understanding.
Thank you.
I mean, outside of COVID, healthy living is something that the ministry continues to preach. I mean, in the management of non-communicable diseases, etc. So, I mean, it didn't have to take COVID for us to talk about physical well-being and good nutrition and rest and activity. But I think I kind of lost my
Yeah,
trend of
because
thought.
he was more speaking about the boosting.
Oh, right, about the boosting.
Yeah, but what he was saying is like he believes that that should have been the first of the ministry long before discussion on vaccination. But thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, but this is a good point in terms of boosting your body. But as we see the what COVID is doing, globally, just boosting your body is not enough, and your body needs that extra protection, and vaccines is what is going to provide it.
Okay, I have a question here on the WhatsApp texting platform. What if a frontline worker refuses to take the vaccine because of personal reasons? I realize this vaccine will become mandatory. What if a frontline worker don't want the vaccine and don't want to be tested for COVID-19? This person is looking at choice.
Well, I mean, the vaccine is not mandatory. It remains voluntary, so it is a matter of choice. If you are willing, if you would like to take the vaccine, you take it. No one forces anyone to take the vaccine.
I have another question here. Hi there, watching your show. There are some here in St. Lucia promoting ivermectin used in a protocol that could help with COVID-19. Should it be used along with those who take the AstraZeneca vaccine or those who choose not to take the vaccine? Concerned citizen. Ivermectin. I saw something on.
Yeah, I saw a press release, but I'm not in a position to talk about ivermectin. We do not have any documented evidence as it relates to. Ivermectin as the management for COVID-19 is not recommended. We don't have any recommendation saying that it is for use in COVID-19 patients, and I will choose not to discuss ivermectin at this point.
Okay, another question on the WhatsApp texting platform. Thank you for your questions. What is the content makeup of the ingredients in the vaccine? And also, can the vaccine potentially affect a woman's ability to reproduce? 1 second, let's just take that call.
I don't have.
Good night, caller.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Talk to me.
I have a question I want to ask your guest. Yes. In terms of the vaccine, I've been hearing stuff and reading stuff that this vaccine contains aborted fetuses. Is there any information that Ms. Baptiste can give us when it comes to this aborted human fetuses?
The vaccine does not contain any human remains. It does not contain any aborted remains of any aborted fetuses. It's just a PT. I didn't walk with my document. I would have outlined what the contents of the vaccine is to you. It does not contain any animal or human remains. That much I could tell you. And of course, I think part of the question that you asked, Serge, about whether it affects a woman's ability to conceive, no, it does not. There's no data about that.
Any other question, caller?
Right. Okay.
Okay, thank you, caller. All right, let me just check once again. Let me see. I have a message here. Someone is stating that AstraZeneca has been banned in many countries like Germany, India, and Switzerland, and it has been stopped for now. They're not quoting a source, Mr. Baptiste. They're just stating that it has been stopped for now in England because of the death rates after taking it and adverse reactions. How did this information not reach your ministry, and why are we pushing this jab? Are you aware of any such information, Mr. Baptiste?
There's lots of information on the internet, and it's one thing we have to be careful. We need to ensure that our sources are credible sources. According to the documents from the trials and the various phases, there have been no reports of any hospitalizations or death from AstraZeneca. I'm not too sure where the individual got the information from. But we need to be careful. Everybody has something to say. And there are lots of documentaries, lots of articles that are not from credible sources, and we have to be careful with that.
Actually, viewer, she did. I'm going to ask again because she probably thought you didn't answer. I read a question early on from the WhatsApp. Can the vaccine potentially affect a woman's ability to reproduce?
Oh, I just answered yes.
Yeah, she
but
said she thought I guess
yeah,
she did not hear.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It does not affect a
it
woman's ability to
doesn't. No,
reproduce.
definitely.
And you said you're not able to say at this point in time what contents make up the ingredients of the vaccine. Okay.
Although if I'm permitted
Miss
to take my
Baptiste,
at a break, I will.
As it speaks, as currently to do a surgery at OKEU, one has to provide a negative PCR test result. Would someone still have to provide this result if they were to take the vaccine?
I would answer yes to this question because it is the institution's protocol, and we know that you are not fully protected not until you've completed your regime, your 2-dose regime. And of course, people continue to be exposed, and it is the institution's policy that a negative COVID test is presented, and as such, I would say that it would be required. It continues to be required, even if you're vaccinated.
Okay. There are
and let me just add that taking a vaccine, because I don't know, maybe somebody might ask that question, but it's a question I've been asked before, that if you're vaccinated, whether you would get a positive PCR or no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you for calling.
Let me ask your guest a question. In the event that I decide to get vaccinated from the COVID-19, and I develop some sort of side effect or some adverse reaction, what does the government of St. Lucia or the ministry have in place that in the event that I get ill, I mean I have my family, and I die from getting this, what if, because we still on a what if basis, because WHO don't even know what the vaccine is doing, but they said it's going to work. But what if the event that this thing has some dramatic effect on my body and it ends up, instead of doing good for me, but kills me, I'm allergic to whatever's in there. Because I know in the international countries, people have been able to sue these mega companies for vaccines and medicines that are not good. What if in this little island of Michelle, this vaccine that we are rolling out now has some adverse side effects and is causing different things? What does the Ministry of Health and the government have in place in order to compromise, to
compensate,
to assist with people or compensate people who have gotten other infections or other things that have gone wrong by taking this vaccine? Do you guys have any plan in that regard?
As I would have indicated earlier, I think in my discussion with Sergeant Hippolyte, not just with COVID-19 vaccine, but any other vaccine, an adverse event is possible. Lucky for us, I'm in St. Lucia, and as I said, I have not seen one, and in my years as nursing, and to the best of my knowledge, I have not seen any serious adverse events from a vaccine, and that would lead to death. But as part of the whole process of introduction of a vaccine and the COVID-19 vaccine, which is our newest introduction, the government has signed an indemnity agreement with the manufacturer. If an adverse event occurs, of course, there's a level of investigation that has to happen to determine whether the event was indeed associated with the vaccine. If the findings reveal such, the indemnity agreement does provide I'm looking for the word.
Compensation?
Right, compensation. If death or something really serious occurs. Yes, it does.
But this investigation, who will be leading this investigation? How will the public be sure that this investigation is going to be done on a fair or... Because normally there's a lot of cover-ups going on in the international world. And if you know how things are going on in St. Lucia, people still do cover-up, even in our St. Lucia. But how members of the public are going to be sure that when those investigations take place, that it's going to be across the board and it's going to be transparent, that people will know that nobody's been paid by these mega companies to publicly destroy data or to just claim that the vaccine has nothing to do with whatever happened to the individual.
I think
how can we be assured that this is not going to happen?
I think we could
happen all over the world.
Yeah, I mean,
I have one other question for you.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you.
Sure.
If we have the protocols, the 6 feet, the wearing of the mask, the washing of the hands, if all of these things are working, is it necessary that we still have a vaccine? When all of those different things, like you guys have been preaching to us and teaching us that these protocols work, washing of the hands, keeping a 6 feet distance, wearing your mask, following all of these protocols, not mingling in large crowds, these things are working. So why is it necessary for us to be vaccinated? And this vaccine is more like a trial from what I'm seeing.
Okay, caller, thank you so much. Thank you for your call. We have other persons that to call. And I think you've answered that already.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, yes.
Yeah.
But of course, we know the social distancing, the wearing of the mask. If we adhere to it and if we do it, then it works. But we know our people do not comply. They do not adhere to protocols. And of course, we see the cases rising. And of course, the vaccines, we know for sure, will bring some level of containment to the virus. We've seen vaccines work. And I mean, in places where AstraZeneca they started using AstraZeneca for the past couple months, they have started seeing the effect. They've started seeing the decrease in deaths and the decrease in the number of cases. So we can only be very positive, and I just want to go back to your question about the indemnity. We could only hope for the best. I mean, as I said, in St. Lucia, we have not had any such cases, but I would like to assure you that as much as possible, this process, if it were to occur, is going to be as transparent. If we have any events that is reported, an investigation is launched, and of course, all persons involved, from the patient right through everybody involved in the process, is informed about the findings of this process. So I would like you to just think positive. And yes, of course, we know that things happen, investigations get screwed up, but we can only hope for the best and hope and think positively.
You have a call on the line? Let's take that call. Good night, caller. Thanks for calling Police Inside. Good night, sir. Only the guys are calling tonight. Talk to me.
When you get infected with the virus, and you recover from it, whether it's a serious infection or mild infection, your body uses develop antibodies to it, right? And that means your body knows the virus and it can protect you from the virus, right? That's how your immune system works.
Yes.
Okay, and this is what basically the vaccine is doing. That it introduces it to your body. I don't know if that one is the weakest. I know the older types of vaccines will give you the virus, but in a weakened state where it cannot really infect you, but your immune system can recognize it and invading force, a foreign So it's actually a weekend one, so your immune system can take care of that and have that information for further events. So basically that's the same thing which is happening with COVID right now. When you have somebody who is asymptomatic or somebody who has a mild case, right? That their body has recognized what's going on, right? And then it actually defends itself. They go through the process and they get better, right?
Yes.
And your body has its antibodies.
But remember, I would have said earlier, and I think I said it several times, that we don't know how long this natural immunity is going to last, because we have seen cases of reinfection. So this means that this suggests that the natural immunity does not last very long.
So, okay, so what is different from the vaccine immunity and natural immunity? What difference?
Well, the vaccine, when someone takes the vaccine, then over a period of time, of course, the body builds the immunity. This is the reason why there's the second dose. So the body would continue producing these antibodies and building your system. So then when you get exposed to the virus again sometime in the future, the body would recognize it, because you say, oh, I mean, I have encountered this thing before, and it's in a better position to be able to fight it and then to prevent you from getting ill, and more so to get severe illness.
So is it that the body cannot, the body's own natural immune system cannot function in a way that it can remember that, because that's how it's always been working, that it remembers it. What is that? I just want to know what is different about the vaccine, that your body works better with a vaccine than with natural. Because if to actually be asymptomatic, that means your body is able to recognize that virus so soon and take care of it so early that it never got a chance.
But caller, don't you think there's really a room for concern knowing that, I mean, down here we're not really, in my opinion, experiencing the levels of death and critical admissions like in the US.
Okay.
A lot of people are dying.
That's again the way I see it.
Yes.
Because again, maybe our immune system is better down here. Down here we actually, again, our immune system, as you know, is relies solely on the vitamin D from the sunlight.
So what you're saying, our immune system is better than those in the United States?
Yes.
Okay, caller.
In that, how we get the vitamin D that allows us to produce the sunlight to produce vitamin D, and we also our diet is not as bad as the person's overseas, because again, with the things that we eat, that would supplement and reinforce your diet,
there's no doubt about that.
So the people overseas, they really do the job. That's all that I fructose corn syrup that actually inhibits your vitamin D production. And down here, we eat better as far as I'm concerned. So that is why we would be in a better state. And again, goes to the whole compromised immune system. That I think that is why we have so much, I guess, so many people are not getting so sick, that our body is able to recognize it and take care of it before it gets to that stage. And again, with the vaccine, you will still get it and you can still transmit it. It's just that your body will fight it and you will be healthy and you can transmit it. Even though you get the vaccine, it will be the same thing. You can get it and still transmit it. It's just that your body takes care of it, but you can still transmit it even though you have the vaccine, which goes the same way like an asymptomatic person.
Okay, caller.
One last question.
Okay, quickly, yeah. I'll give somebody else a chance.
Things in place for the persons who do not wish to take the vaccine. Do you have any information on what those things are? Thank you.
Just repeat. Things in place for?
I think he's more talking about, again, that he's trying to bring with the mandatory thing.
Well, if somebody, if somebody opts, if somebody opts not to take the vaccine, and as we said, it's voluntary, I mean, we expect the individual to continue adhering to the protocols, continue wearing the mask, continue ensuring that they wash their hands, they sanitize.
The people who take the vaccine still have to do that. They have to wear the mask, they have to do everything.
Yes, but they have a level of protection that the person who did not take the vaccine has.
Sorry, I need to say, we'll take that up next week again, don't worry, okay? We gotta go. All right, caller. Yeah. I have a question here. Shouldn't someone submit a negative PCR test before taking the vaccine? I guess this person is trying to say, what if someone is asymptomatic, they have no idea that they have COVID, and they might go and take the vaccine? Would that be a problem? Shouldn't someone submit a negative PCR test before taking the vaccine?
No, it's not necessary if the person is not symptomatic. I mean, of course, we know we have asymptomatic persons. We have been here and everywhere else submitting a negative PCR or negative antigen test is not a requirement before you get vaccinated. And we have not had any serious events as a result of that. So no, it's not a requirement.
Okay, I have a question.
And that's fine.
I'm trying to make sense. I think this person is asking, if you do the surgery, you get a refund from the hospital. Okay, I think this person wants to know, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer that, Mr. Baptiste, because that's more like of an administrative issue. But this individual wants to know if they have to produce a PCR test before they do a surgery. Usually you have to pay for the PCR test, or is there a place they could get it for free before getting that surgery done? Because I think what the person is saying is that on the day of the surgery, if the surgery is not able to be performed, would they be refunded, or if now they have to do another PCR test for a later date?
I mean, if the surgery was rescheduled for no fault of the individual, then we cannot have the person pay for the PCR test if it was no fault of theirs that the surgery was. I mean, it's only fair.
The PCR test is being done at the hospital itself?
It has been done at the respiratory clinics.
At the respiratory clinics for free?
Not all. I mean, you have cases where persons are exempted, but it's not all free.
Okay. Shane, just give me a couple minutes there again. Let me just, can you explain to us, Mr. Baptiste, the rollout plan for the distribution of the vaccines in the show?
Okay, so the COVID-19 vaccine program is being rolled out in a phased approach. And I will continue to say about the limited amounts of vaccine, numbers of doses of vaccines. And of course, the focus in the first phase is for persons at highest risk. And we talk about our frontline workers, the police officers, the nurses, the physicians, the fire officers, the people in the front line of the fight for COVID, the people who take care of persons who are infected with COVID and are likely to be infected with COVID. As such, by nature of their jobs, they are at very high risk. And of course, the risk is even higher if they have some sort of underlying condition. So these are the people that we focus on in the very first phase. Also in the first phase of the rollout are persons with chronic non-communicable diseases and also the elderly population. By nature of their age, we know the risk, and of course their body is not able to fight the virus, and of course the risk for death and severe disease increases steeply with age. So the first phase, we focus on these very high-risk groups. In phase 2, once we get past phase 2, then we focus on persons who are at more medium risk. Of course, in that group, you still have some healthcare workers, some some police officers, and we have other groups of persons who are not in the front line, and their risk is more medium. And once we get past this phase, then we start focusing on the rest of the population and non-essential persons. What we have been doing is there's a pre-registration process, and the pre-registration, of course, can be done either through the online registration, or you could walk into a facility, or you could call. The purpose of the pre-registration is really for logistics and planning. So you are better able to plan, you are better able to have an idea as to how many persons in a particular geographic location, so you could deploy your teams. What we have done is that we have teams, vaccination teams, that comprise of physicians, nurses, and other healthcare providers. We have 4 teams, actually. We have 2 teams in the north and 2 teams in the south. And they are the ones who have been conducting the vaccinations at the various sites. Also, vaccines will become available throughout all our wellness centers at some point, and it will be easily accessible by persons who desire to have it.
Excellent. People, I'm not able to read all those messages. I'm really sorry, but I know for sure the Ministry of Education will be on various platforms, so definitely you'll have an opportunity to ask those questions, definitely on another show. Ms. Baptiste, this is last comments. Why should someone take that vaccine? Give your last comments to St. Lucia before we end.
St. Lucia, I would say we have seen what COVID-19 is a global pandemic. It is a global disaster, a public health disaster, as we would say. We have seen the effects, we have seen the loss of livelihoods, we have seen deaths, and we are now living a new normal. Who thought in this time, 2020, that we would be walking around wearing masks? And even when COVID, we got our first couple cases of COVID in early 2020 in March, who thought this was going to last a year and more? And it doesn't seem like it's going to go away anytime soon. Yes, we have been encouraging persons to social distance, to wear their mask, to continue sanitizing. But of course, while some of us adhere to the protocols, we have others that do not comply. There is a vaccine that has been developed. It is safe, it is effective, it is of good quality. As anything else, St. Lucia, we continue to monitor, and of course, we continue to rely on the World Health Organization for pre-qualification of our vaccines before we introduce to our population. We have no doubt that the vaccine is going to help contain the spread of COVID-19 vaccine. And as such, I encourage each and every one of us to get protected, not just for yourself, but for yours and for all of us, including the vulnerable groups that are not eligible to have the vaccine. St. Lucians, I just want to encourage you to get vaccinated and be safe.
Mr. Baptiste, thank you so much for being a guest on Police Insight. I have no doubt that the information you provided will go a long way in making up the minds of those who know for sure that they should protect themselves. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome. That it was a pleasure.
Excellent. So, it's another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Who knows, maybe next week because there's so much messages, there's so much information. Who knows, I might still have another guest in reference to the vaccine. I'm going to try to make that happen for next Tuesday. As you know, you got to stay safe, be careful, and always research for yourself and make up your mind. Good night, and good night.
How quickly the coronavirus spreads,